Oh, you got him? Okay. I got share screen. Share. Aha, I fixed it. Okay. Thank you everyone for coming to meeting. All right. Why is it glitching? I pulled a Dr. L. Okay, so starting with Skywarn, it's going to be 2 weeks from tonight, 7 to 9 p.m., barring a hurricane. They told me if there's a hurricane, we're canceling on you. I was like, that's fair. The form to sign up is there. It's been emailed. It's been posted in a lot of places. If you do not live in the NWS Melbourne area at all, you have to use the school's address, which is the 150 West University Boulevard. And those who have not done basic are eligible to do the advanced since they canceled on all of us because of whichever hurricane it was. I don't remember which hurricane at this point. But you must do the basic class in October and November. So when you register for the advanced, go back into the same form and register for the basic class. And they said about a week prior to the class, they're going to provide everyone that registered through the Google form a go-to webinar link for registration on that platform. They use the Google form to make sure you're in the viewing area, basically, and that's really all. Yeah, that. Thank you. I don't know why I keep saying viewing area. I always say that when I don't mean to. But yeah, so that's the only reason that's used for. So just get the registration done as soon as possible if you can come. And then, yeah, so that's that. And fundraising, we're going to be doing a Chipotle night. Brian's still working on getting the date and registering. They have a fundraising where you can order online in the app or in person versus just in person because of COVID. So we're working on getting that together, more details to come. And we're possibly going to do the Krispy Kreme fundraiser because now instead of us having to buy the physical donuts, what you can do is you could fundraise virtually where you can just get like Venmo, Cash App, PayPal, the money. And we take the money, pay it to Krispy Kreme, and they send out digital codes for everyone to use. So anyone in the nation who has a Krispy Kreme near them can actually buy from our fundraiser this time versus those in just Melbourne itself. So we don't know if we're allowed to do it yet because we did the Krispy Kreme fundraiser in the spring, and we don't know if you can only do it once a year or we can still do it. Brian's still investigating, so that's why it's a question mark. All right, game night. We're planning on Weather Pictionary. We're most likely going to use Scribblio because Matt brought it up and Zoom during the event. We're thinking September 27th around 5. Since the meeting, the 23rd is going to be Skywarn technically. So we're thinking of using it as just a game night on a weekend so people can actually come. And are there any other thoughts or suggestions or a better night to pick or anything from the crowd? Is that a night that would work, or is there another night that's going to be better? We're trying to think of a night because we know some people want to go out on Friday and Saturday nights to do things. And we're thinking of doing it on Sunday early evening so people can still do homework before and after, but still a break. Well, if there's anything that's better, speak up. That was just a suggestion. That was loud.
You scared everybody.
The beeping scared me. I heard just the beep in my ear and it just blasted through my head. Yeah, no
you should always do a doodle poll, I suppose.
Oh, wait, I have polls. Wait, I forgot I have this feature now.
Got a poll right there, but I guess, yeah, we can create one.
What the heck did I just do? I just pressed a button and I don't know what I did. Yeah, that's too much work. I don't know what I just did. If you want people put in the chat what you think, just put in the chat and we'll figure it out. In the chat for the rest of the session or email me. Because I have never used the poll before. Sunday, okay. Kate agreed. I've never used the poll before in my life on this thing. Sunday works, that works. Sunday's cool. Sunday boys. I'm just reading the chat. Works for me. Great. I appreciate all of you because I've never used poll before because it's the first time we've had a licensed Zoom and I've never had that feature before. Sundays are for meteorologists. Kate, yes, that works. Sounds good. Sunday. Okay, good. Sunday works. Great. That date, 5 p.m. We'll send out all the deets at a time. coming up in the future. So we're going to continue now. Okay. So bracelets, freshmen, we usually give these out during orientation, but because of COVID, we weren't allowed to give anything out. So we still have them in the synoptic lab. I don't really know where in the synoptic lab, but go there at some point. You can pick up one of the bracelets. That's what they look like. We're using Colin's bracelet as an example because the first one I could find. Colin's bracelet. I think it's on a table in the back of the room. I know they're there somewhere, but you can pick them up. Anyone who doesn't have one, if you want one, this is just a plug for that. So yeah. Okay, Colin, this is your segment now.
Yeah, so in case any, well, I certainly didn't know this, so I guess I could make the bold assumption that other people didn't know it either. But so the Weather Service in Melbourne does a monthly summary of the summer. They just sort of the basic climatological values of rainfall, amount, temperature, and whatnot. So I just pulled out some of the highlights of it, just looking at Melbourne. I just thought it was kind of Cassie, I need you to go forward because I can't do it. So I just thought it was sort of an interesting sort of roundup of the summer. I mean, I'm not going to read it all. I'll just let you guys kind of look through that. And then I was mostly inland this summer, so I don't really have a good feel how it felt, how it seemed like it was really. Again, I was mostly inland, so I experienced a lot more rain, clearly, just qualitatively. But I was just kind of curious, for those that were more on the coast, did it feel like about 20 inches?
It was the Spitz.
Yeah, for sure. At times, it definitely did.
Just curious. I'm always curious to how much rainfall, like how qualitatively perceive how much rain, and then what it actually is. I always feel like our senses think that a lot more is falling than actually has. Anyways,
Yeah, I'd like to check it out because I swear we were when the Melbourne airport was getting clobbered, we kept missing it. So I have a feeling if I go, because I do the Coco Rojas network, and I'll need to total it up and compare to this 19.84. So is that the total for June, July, August?
I assume so. That's climatological summer, correct?
Yeah.
So I assume that's what
that.
it is.
Now, I was curious what it would be kind of across, to Professor Splitt's point, all of them, nearby at least.
Yeah. So in the PowerPoint, the PowerPoint available, I also have the link directly to the product if you don't want to go searching. It's also on Melbourne's homepage if you're curious and perusing the full data set. I thought this was interesting, though. One, because it was their 5th highest, and they were over 7 inches above normal. What I thought was kind of interesting is that the record extended to 1901. Do Mr. Splitt or Dr. L know the history on that observation site by any chance? For
are you just surprised it goes that far back?
Well, I mean, I know especially in the Northeast, they have some really old records in the Northeast and whatnot. And I know that a lot of observations in Florida are because of World War II, of training bases and whatnot.
What is it now? What it used to be called the National Climatic Data Center. What's it called? NCEI. You can go and trace the records of what stations are available near a city. It's possible this one, maybe got moved to the airport after a while. Maybe it was some other kind of climate station before it ended up being the airport station. So that you could track that down.
Yeah, because I wonder if it's maybe like a lighthouse or something first.
Well, they can move. The official town station can move around. I don't know if it would have been. Do they have a barrier island there? Don't they?
I think so. Yeah.
I mean, so the lighthouse. Do they have the lighthouse on the lagoon? I don't know. Good question.
I just know that lighthouses have historically also been early observation sites.
Yeah.
So yeah, like the Jupiter, down in Jupiter, I think their lighthouse was an observation site. anyways, I just thought it was kind of interesting for you guys to see sort of the highlights of the summer. Of course, if you guys are interested in getting more in depth, the link's there, and right now it's on Melbourne's homepage, so it's pretty easy to go in there and grab it. Is that the last slide, Cassie? Okay. See what time we're at here.
That was the last one. I
Yeah.
forgot I was on mute.
Really?
Kelly is very late. Let me. It's Stephanie time. After I
Really?
get this to
Stephanie
Facebook Live.
time? Really?
Yeah,
Is that what
after I
it's
get this to
called?
Facebook
Stephanie
Live.
time?
Yes. What the heck? No, I don't want this on my timeline. Dear goodness, that would be terrible. I do not need this on my timeline. Next. I'm trying to put this live on Facebook.
Oh God, why?
Why not?
Okay.
This is.
Do you remember how to do it from when we did it with Aaron?
Yeah, I do. That's what I'm trying to
Okay.
do.
All right.
Good
I was
deal.
just saying, I kind of remember. I remember how we did it.
Yeah, okay. Go live. Oh, I need to add a title. Stephanie talk.
Stephanie time.
Not Stephanie time.
Uh-oh. Setting up your meeting for Facebook Live. Yeah, so I was just doing the same thing I did for Aaron.
Yeah.
This meeting's still recording too, right? Okay. Okay, now it's streaming on Facebook. Okay, cool. Now let's do.
Does it?
Hey.
All right.
Let's change it to that. There we go. Okay, Stephanie, floor is yours. How for whatever you would wish to say.
I was like, well, not anything. Jesus. All right, so I'm trying to think of what you guys wanted me to start with and what you wanted me to start with. But I am Stephanie Zoutenbeer, class of 2011. That took a second. There you go. I majored in meteorology and minored in scientific, technical, and professional communication when that was still an option. I'm not sure if it's still an option or not. Offered through the communications team. So there's that. My first job out of school was working for NASA for the 45th Space Wing as a meteorological systems analyst. So I worked for a, a contractor for the Air Force. And it's a company that was called Computer Sciences Raytheon, but is now called Range Next. And I saw their hiring, by the way, if anybody's curious. But none of the open roles are met roles, so sadness. But what it is it is a contracting company that is hired by the Space Wing and hired by NASA to essentially monitor all operations on the base. So my office was in Patrick Air Force Base, and I had a second office at the Cape Canaveral. And what you would do is go between them essentially. And my home base was Patrick. And then if we had operations or anything like that, I'd go up to the Cape and work on stuff up there. We had a couple of other like little satellite places where we'd go and work and like check on stuff. But for the most part, it was those two sites. And my main job would be to make sure that all the meteorological sensors on the entire base was working. And whenever they weren't, figure out kind of what was wrong and help guide the technicians to fix it. So it wasn't necessarily that I needed to know like the electronics of it per se, but like I would identify, hey, for example, the 4-dimensional lightning sensor is faulty. Well, how do you know that it's faulty? Well, I'm looking at the data stream and it should be this and the data's wrong, right? That kind of stuff. So, or you'd find one of my favorite ones was like, every Thursday at 3 p.m., this one lightning sensor would start fizzling out. And I had kind of noticed it and raised it, and nobody really noticed anything because they'd go out every other day at 3 and couldn't find anything. So I like packed a chair and packed a lunch and sat there, and from like 2 to 4 waited and watched. And this guy on a ride-on lawnmower came riding and scooting down. And the way that the sensors work is it's detecting changes in electromagnetic fields and electric fields, right? and it was altered just enough by the dude riding this little lawnmower around that it flipped with all the sensors and made the data go completely whack. So keep in mind, there's like a giant rock circle of like 100 feet or so to like protect all the data and protect the instrumentation and stuff. But apparently him riding in his little like Anakin Skywalker little pod thing wasn't enough, and he just ruined all the data. So there you go. So we had to create new procedures for this dude so he wouldn't do that anymore. But it's that kind of stuff. And then launch operations. So whenever we did a launch, which I wore a shirt for y'all, instead of my AMS shirt, I told Cassie I was going to wear one of my NASA shirts. We would support the launch. So whenever they would say like, you know, hey, is weather green and all that stuff, there would be like weather as in the physical weather, and then weather instrumentation. So I am a huge sucker for data and collecting data and all that stuff. So and that's a lot of what I do now is still data, even though it's not NASA anymore. So still love data. So there's that. Got to play with a lot of really cool stuff. I brought along a radio sonde that I was given when I left. So it's super cool. You guys will recognize them from hanging underneath a giant balloon. So I will not open this up, and I really don't want to open it up, but it's pretty cool because you can see it has all the manufacturing information on it too. Pretty shiny. But each of them are calibrated to a way to the system that's used, right? So when you're getting ready to attach it to the balloon and everything, and make sure that when you let go of the balloon, right, that it's holding down. So it's pretty cool. And that was a lot of the stuff we got to play with too, was making sure that everything was working so that the other meteorologists were able to make the actual launch support calls, right? So, because I mean, visual obs are great and all, but when it comes to launching things into space, you really want to get like real deep data to make sure that there's nothing, no other risks or like upper level wind shear and things like that, right, hanging out. So there's that. I don't know, any questions or comments or concerns, or how I'm the world's worst meteorologist for selling my life or anything like that, for leaving meteorology? No? Cassie, fun question? Nothing? You're on mute?
Yeah, I know I'm on mute. I forgot I was on mute again. Let's see. What was one of your most memorable days working at NASA? Like one day that like sticks out in your brain that you remember. Fun or not fun, or anything you want.
There's some funny ones, but there's also some crazy ones. But one of my favorites was the landing of 135, the final shuttle mission. So I got to work like on the last 7 ones. One of my other favorite ones was working on the very first SpaceX launch. So I like have this shirt and all the cool stuff from that very, very first launch of SpaceX Dragon. Super cool. Plus there was a sign that said, "Don't touch," and I touched it. Rebel. After it landed, not before it landed, or before it launched. It was after it landed, I touched it. The same with the 135 Atlantis. Touched it. Dibs. The other one being just before 135 launched, then President Obama came out and he was touring the Cape with his like Apache attack helicopters and stuff, like flying around, and they had landed at the landing facility that's really, really close to the weather station on base. So what happens is they made an announcement telling all of us not to, you know, essentially don't loiter around because the president's going to be there. And naturally, us meteorologists, being the rebels that we are, we went up on the roof and decided to go wait and watch. And we got yelled at by one of the Marine One helicopters for being outside. And the attack helicopters are pretty scary when they're coming right at you and telling you to get off the roof, but we did it anyway. So that one was really funny. I think what else? I mean, some of the, I think one of the other ones was the Delta IV, like the heavies, whenever you'd be on like a Delta heavy, And you'd always go up on the roof to watch the launches, right? But the thing is, so you're inside the restricted area and you're allowed to go like up on the roof, but you're not allowed to really do much. So we would always go up there to watch the launches. And the heavies are crazy because the amount of force that comes out of them, because obviously it's for like heavy payloads, right? So you need to really, they stack extra thrust in there, and they essentially, whatever. Because it's so heavy, the force that's exerted is a lot more. And what ends up happening is the shock wave that comes from it is even more powerful. So much so that like you'll end up like watching the trees move as this like shock wave is coming towards you. And that one's always one of my favorite ones, is like that. Because I mean, if you've ever been to a launch, like actually by the causeway close, you'll hear it, right? I don't know if you guys have ever had that, where you'll hear like the rockets launching and everything. But with the heavies, it's so powerful and scary that it like takes your breath away, because you'll see like this wall of sound essentially moving towards you because you see the trees moving. So you just kind of stare and you're like, huh, okay. And then you just get like slammed in the face by this like wall of just force. And it's really cool and kind of weird and hard to explain. But imagine like being unable to breathe for like 2 seconds as suddenly you're just hit with this big force of just cool sound. That one's always one of my favorites too, but it's like really weird to explain, because you're just like, imagine that you can't breathe for like 2 seconds and you're kind of scared, but you're really, really excited. That's what it feels like. So there's that one. Yeah, those are like my favorite ones.
Can you explain the 4D lightning, since we have a lot of freshmen in here tonight?
Yeah, so what the sensors do is, as I had kind of mentioned before, think about it as essentially it's measuring like the electric fields, right? I mean, lightning itself, right? Obviously electricity. So what it's doing is it's creating a map in, it's the 4-dimensional lightning detection system is what it's called, or the 4D LSS. And what it's doing is it has, God, I don't even remember how many. I think it's like 60 sensors all over the Cape and the surrounding areas, so Cape Canaveral. And what it'll do is it'll create a map of the electric fields around it, like going upwards from the ground up. So because of that, if there are clouds in the area, you're able to see if the clouds have a charge or not, so that you can help get an idea of, you know, if we launch, what's going to happen. That said, I think you can access some of them publicly. I know maybe Professor Tombiola might be able to help you guys access more of it. I don't remember exactly where all of them are published, if they're published like publicly, I should say, so that everybody can have access to them. I know for a little while there was access to some of them, which was pretty dang cool. But yeah, it's almost kind of like witchcraft-ish in a way, because then what it'll do is it'll actively try to use what's going on now mixed with, you know, movement data, and try to see if and when, you know, there's a probability of lightning striking and things like that. It's what the data is eventually used for, which is quite cool. Borderline witchcraft. That was the one that just made me kind of go like, holy crap, this is awesome. So, because I mean, like, you know, you could see like high definition radars and think that it's cool, right? And they have like optical sensors that'll shoot into clouds and measure, you know, water vapor levels and things like that. Like they have really, really cool sensors times like 100. And at the end of the day, you know, like a really cool radar, you're like, okay, neat. And like a radio sound, you're like, okay, neat. But, you know, when you talk about things like, oh yeah, we've got this 4-dimensional lightning detection system, you're just like, wait, what? Tell me more. It's witchcraft. Any other questions, maybe?
There was a question that popped up in the chat from Fallon.
We're gonna do that last.
Oh, my bad. Okay.
Oh, well, fine then. I won't read the questions in the chat.
Just that specific question, we decided would be a good roundup question.
Well, fine. I can still bounce off of it, but I'll wait then. How do I minimize it? I can't minimize it. All right, I'm just going to ignore
Just
it.
you click the little triangle thing in the top left corner and click close.
It was an X. Yeah, I didn't know if I closed it, if it like closed, or if it, whatever. It's fine. It's gone now.
Okay.
It's like my 10th time using Zoom. And told you guys Zoom is banned by my company. So we're not allowed to use Zoom because it's got spyware in it. So
Oh, cool.
yeah, so, you know, wave to China and Russia. Hey guys, what's up? Hey, what's up?
Oh gosh.
You said you got out of meteorology. What do you do now?
I sold my soul for oil and gas and a boatload of money. No regrets. I still work in data. So what happened was I left NASA probably, I want to say it was like 8 months after the last shuttle landing. So we were already transitioning to like commercial payloads and stuff. So like SpaceX, all the new stuff, still doing a lot of the like Navy stuff that, you know, you barely hear about. And then some of the Air Force launches for like satellites and stuff. So we had stopped doing essentially astronauts up until now, recently. But I got an offer from an alumni actually at Florida Tech to go work in oil and gas. So he knew that I love to travel, which I do. And he just kind of said, hey, look, my son's looking for people, you know, and my son went to Florida Tech as well. I'm working oil and gas, and I'm like, I don't know, go on, tell me more. So I ended up actually working on oil rigs and drilling, like directional drilling. So what we did is you would go in and you would find out where they would find out where the oil is, and then you'd go in and you'd drill for the oil. So you would get like real-time data streams that are coming in, and then it will tell you the formation that's around you so that you can find out what's going on where you are, and then you'll end up steering towards whether it's oil or gas. So I did that for 5 years, testing new tools, all that fun stuff. And now I work for the same company, but I am a manager for real-time drilling optimization softwares. So I have a team of, in total, it's about 100 people-ish on my team. And what we do is take real-time data from the field. So we have something like 500 terabytes of real-time data, and we take it all and use it to drill faster, more efficiently, less harm to the environment, all that stuff. So I do get to use a lot of my meteorology though, because it's essentially exactly the same, but flipped. So instead of going up, I'm going down. And it's actually been really, really hilarious, because you'll have some of the like petroleum, like the petrophysics guys, and then I'll have some of the geology guys who will come in and just kind of assume that like, oh, well, you know, I have an engineering degree from Texas A&M, and, you know, I know you don't understand, but, you know, let me show you how fluid dynamics works, because I know you don't understand. And I'm like, honey, don't mansplain this to me, because, you know, y'all's is like in a tube, which is very easy, and ours is, you know, the atmosphere. So calm down. It's not that hard. So, and then they get like kind of shocked when they find out that meteorology is not the study of being on TV. So there's that, which is also great fun. And I'm sure you guys are looking forward to a lifetime of dealing with like, oh, so you're a weather girl or a weather guy. And I'm like, no, not at all, but thanks. So yeah, that's a lot of what I do. And now I really do travel the world. Well, minus COVID, obviously. But I'll say last year I had something like 30 work trips going to places like Dubai, Abu Dhabi, India, Germany, France, everywhere. And then some. I got my visa for Russia and Saudi, and then they closed the borders. So bummer, because that was 2 countries I've never been to. But So my visas are 5-year non-cancelable. So I'll go when all this is over. It's pretty exciting and a little terrifying, but it's actually been really cool because I still get to use a lot of the same fundamentals that I learned, and I still get to play with a lot of data, which, like I said before, I love data. So now it's terabytes and terabytes and terabytes of data that we get to play with and, you know, essentially find how people can do better at what they're doing now and efficiencies and things like that, which I love. Questions? Other questions? I feel weird talking about myself.
Sounds like you have a really good job.
Yeah, it's a lot.
What was like Florida Tech? This is a line. This is saying it's not really relevant. What was it like when you went to Florida Tech? Like, yeah.
It was really, really small when I went. God, it's not even 10 years ago. What y'all talking about? Wait, was it? It's almost 10 years ago. Olin had just opened when I started, so there was that. Oh, don't even make that face, Cass. Girl, don't. Because I think Olin opened in, what, 2003, 2004, something like that, 2005. I started in 2006. My high school class was 2006. There you go. I stayed in Roberts my first year, which apparently still exists. So there's that, because I thought it would get I straight up
it's
thought
still
it
here.
was condemned. It's still there.
Still here.
I know that computer sciences building that's like at the end of the fake pond by Olin, like just opened my final year. No, it opened the year after I left. That was it. And then I was there when they tried to put the telescope on there, and then they realized that they didn't plan the building properly. And like when they put the telescope on there, the building started sinking forward because it was too heavy. I was there during that. And then when they moved WFIT out of the basement in Roberts and moved them, I guess like they're next to the theater and stuff now. Is that true? I don't know if that's true.
Yeah, it's true.
It is.
And y'all got like fancy dining halls and stuff, because my dining hall used to be in the quad. And I used to have to settle for my fries with my like weird spices and like it. I don't know. It was a lot smaller. Florida Tech was a lot smaller. I mean, our meteorology class was like 6 people, I think. I'm trying to remember now. What's the average
That's like
meteorology
now.
class? It's still small? Okay, cool.
They're so small.
Well, but that was one of my favorite parts of it, right? Because it was like a little family. I was in band for a while before I quit. And that kind of ties to the question, right? Like the biggest thing, because it's such a small school and because it's so tight knit, like you can make a lot of connections, you can make a lot of friends, and you'll find that like when you're in the real world, when you find other people from Florida Tech, like you have an immediate connection. And when I was a student, I really thought that like, oh yeah, you know, you can network with alumni. Like I thought it was a total hoax. No, like dead serious, it actually works, because I found out there's 9 people at my company who all went to Florida Tech, and all of us hang out and drink beer pre-COVID. So, and there's like 30 of us or 40 of us in Houston that are regular like meetup attendees and stuff. And you'll sit there and talk about stuff, and it's really just like, oh yeah, my company's hiring, you need a job? Okay, well, I'll put a word in for you, because like, oh, you went to Florida Tech. Like that's how I got my job at Baker, where I work now, Baker Hughes, is just because someone was like, oh, you went to Florida Tech? Yeah, that's cool. Here you go. Here's your job offer. Like that's because it's such a small school. And it sounds really silly, but like, that's also because I veered towards the engineering side of it more. Because I mean, we got to kind of pick between like if you wanted to go lean more towards engineering or more towards science for classes like thermo. And I don't know if you guys still have that option. Like I took the engineering thermo, and I took like a bunch of the more engineering leaning classes because I liked that part of it. And that's the part that I really applied more in my jobs. So. Does Squamish still exist? I have to know this. Nice. All right. Nice. Nothing has changed apparently in 10 years. There you go. That's the Oh God, it's like 15 years now, bro, since I started. Man, yeah, not much has changed. It's fine. Apparently, I'm learning this. So I remember like upperclassmen got to go to Columbia Village, and then
What?
Harris opened. Yeah, that's like where we all stayed. It was before Harris, right? Like Harris
Oh,
Village
yeah.
opened my final year. Harris Village was there because I stayed in Farmer.
Yes. Well, that's where I stay.
Farmers, what's up?
Exactly.
I was the first person to live in one of the rooms well, I mean, obviously, all of us who moved into Farmers, we were like the first ones to go in those rooms. And I remember turning on the stove, like the very first like move-in day. I was like, I'm gonna make dinner. Turn on the stove, and all 4 burners caught fire because they had installed it wrong. So there's that. So be careful, y'all, because you never know.
Good thing I don't cook. Or I make microwavable Hot Pocket and chicken nuggets.
Chicken nugs, Velveeta's.
That's the good stuff. Okay, we can jump over to Fallon's question now. She said, I'm a freshman, but thinking ahead, are there any internships for meteorology undergrads at NASA?
So the thing about it, so there's going to be a couple of different ways to get to NASA as well. You can either go directly to NASA, or if you want to kind of get more on the side of it, kind of like what I did, which is like launch operations. A lot of that stuff is not pure NASA right now. A lot of it's, like I said, through like contractors and like the 45th Space Wing, right? So then you're through the Air Force, you're a contractor for the Air Force. So that kind of stuff, you can get to that by looking up those companies. Like one of them is Range Next, right? Like I said, that's the company I used to work for. And they were hiring some computer science roles and stuff like that. But excuse me, the way that I would recommend it, and I know it sounds cliche and I know it sounds dumb, but it worked for me and I will speak to it a million times, is the job fair. No matter what, like you guys think that like the job fair is like a joke or whatever. So help me God, it got me this job at NASA because it allowed me to meet the guys who were hiring for RG Next, or at that time CSR. And I started talking to this guy, and they didn't even post a job about meteorology. Like there was nothing. And I just started talking to him, and we kind of just kept going back and forth. And he goes, oh, well, what's your major? And I was like, yeah, it's meteorology, but I see you guys don't have anything. And it turns out that this guy headed up the meteorology project, like for all the systems. What I was saying, what I did, he was the lead for all of it. And it just came from like sitting there and talking to him. And it just so turns out that he goes, look, I'm not hiring anybody. And then in a little bit, he goes, you know what, screw it. I can use an intern. You want to be an intern? So it's just little stuff like that kind of networking and connections. I just realized my computer's about to die. So now you guys are going to get a backwards tour of the house as I go and grab my connection. But I mean, I know that it sounds really, really cliche and dumb, but really like networking and reaching out. So like if you see a job posting or something like that, like go ahead and just reach out to people or email people and say, hey, I don't see anything, but, are you guys thinking about having an intern? Or would you guys consider having an intern or something like that? Because again, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. And the worst thing that they'll ever say is no. So you may as well just ask and see what's going on. And that kind of is what got me that job. That said, remember that government jobs take forever. So I think when they gave it to me versus when I actually got it, it was like 3 months of waiting, which is something insane. But it was good because just sitting there talking to this guy is what got me the chance to actually get the internship, right? Instead of, oh, well, I waited around until a job posted, which, you're going to be waiting forever and you're going to be going against like the other 1,000 people who want this internship. Because face it, like everybody wants it, right? So just kind of reach out, network out, get LinkedIn if you don't already have one. Because believe it or not, like adults actually use it. the real world actually uses it, even though I hate LinkedIn with a passion. And don't put like some dumb picture as your profile picture, so help me God. And try to like clean up your Facebook or at least put that shit on private. Cause like they'll check, swear to God. Cause like now that I hire people, like we'll check. So please don't. That's your PSA from the real world on that. Any other questions? Comments, concerns, now that I'm downstairs because my cable, I was running out of juice. Maybe. I know Cassie had a request for me to go find my cat.
I was about to say that.
At the very, very end of the meeting, I will go find my cat.
I like when animals come on Zooms.
She's not gonna come on. She's a freaking cat. She's not a dog. Cats don't come when they're called. Like, they don't. They're cats. You think what else? That was kind of like the big part of it too, was just like reaching out to people and asking around and things like that. Like it's networking and, you know, not being afraid of that, I guess, at that aspect. And whenever the AMS conferences start back up again, you know, going to those and just meeting people, like carry around a resume, carry around a business card at the very least, like make a business card. And when you're out meeting people, you know, check them out. Things like that. Because
this is a good PSA, actually. You mentioned AMS. This is a very, very random PSA, but they're doing the virtual conference, and the registration is very, very cheap. So pretty much anyone could go to AMS this time. Like the registration for the full week is like $50, which is insanely cheap. PSA, when the registration, like I think it's open now, you should register for it. It's a very good opportunity, and it's virtual, and they're trying everything they can to make it as normal as possible, although it will not be normal. Thank you for reminding me of that. When you mentioned AMS, I wanted to mention that in a meeting. I kept forgetting every time.
It's almost like it's like the title of this club is AMS. Holy crap.
Yeah, wow. Imagine that.
Hey, this is Professor Split, and yes, AMS, get involved, do stuff. And I just wanted to add to a story Stephanie was saying about a guy driving around on a tractor. One of my first jobs after graduate school was working as really data for the atmospheric radiation measurement program in Oklahoma, Kansas area. And we had a similar problem with cows. They're like, Mr. Split, cows don't drive tractors. And you're right, they don't.
Not normally.
But they like to brush up on stuff. They like to like get their behind on a whatever instrument there is and kind of scratch themselves on it. So they would was just, okay, you want me to do that? All right. So what would they have to do around their instruments? They'd have to put electric fences, right, to keep the cows away from rubbing themselves on the instrument. Well, it turns out we're looking at solar radiation data, and, you know, we're data analysts, right? And we're seeing these weird spikes in the data. It's like, it's a clear day. There's no clouds. There's no reason for there to be spikes in the data. So long story short, it turns out that those electric fences, the way they were working were occasionally sending a surge that the instrumentation would get a spike in there. So it's just about looking at data, being a sensible person. You get this background knowledge. They need people that just know this data well and can make some decisions like, that just seems weird. So I just wanted to follow up because I did some of the same stuff you were doing in a different context, but I was glad to hear you say that.
It's fun. I love it because it's like a treasure hunt. Like even
it is
now,
a treasure hunt.
Yeah,
yes.
Even now it's like a treasure hunt. Like I'll look at data and be like, that just, it feels wrong. And then I'll have to like contact people and be like, hey guys, this data is definitely wrong. And they're like, no, the data is right. You know, I checked the sensor, it's working. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. I know this data, something is wrong. Go look. So.
Yeah. And this is Dr. L. I wanted to follow up on something another comment that you made that was excellent, by the way, and that is the job fair, by the way. We've had a number of students land jobs in situations that were not necessarily readily obvious, including your experiences and also with NOAA Corps as well, which are great opportunities. So even if they don't explicitly list meteorology as an option, you should put your best attire on. You want to make sure you put your best foot forward when you go over there. Don't go over in shorts and flip-flops. And be ready to talk to people with, like Steph said, with card in hand, and engaging with folks gives you an upper hand if you've got a decent personality, especially. They get to see who you are. So even if there are lots of applicants, as she was indicating, to each job positions they open, you raise the chances of you landing that one by talking to people face to face. Really important. The other thing that she said that really resonates with Dr. L was the follow-up comment about cleaning up your Facebook accounts. Professor Split and I didn't have these kind of problems when we were youngins, when dinosaurs roamed the earth. Yeah, I know, Cassie, it's one of my favorites. But nonetheless, basically, at some point you want to put your best foot forward. Be very careful what kind of information you're broadcasting through publicly accessible routes like Facebook. So really excellent advice, Steph. Really great. Yeah.
Yeah, we look. It sounds, kind of whatever, but I mean, we look because you want to make sure that the person you're hiring is a good fit, right? So we look.
Yep. Yep.
Awesome. I was like, it's words of advice from the real world, from the adults in the room.
Which would not be Split or myself.
No, I was like, wait a second, I'm not an adult. I pay a mortgage, but I'm not an adult.
No, it happens to the best of us.
Take that
word, yes. Don't worry, we won't tell anybody.
So, but I got that really good cold front passing right now. So, and I use really good to mean that it fizzled out over Austin. So Houston is not getting the 40-degree temperature drop we were promised, right?
Oh.
It fizzled out. We still have a high of 94 tomorrow.
Ooh,
but the thunderstorm's nice. So.
Yeah, well, it is still pretty early September.
Yep, thunderstorm. It's all right. So. No clue where my cat is, Cassie. Otherwise, I'll show you like one-on-one, okay? I don't need to like broadcast not everybody needs to see my cat unless there's like
I know Kate would like to see your cat. I know that.
Oh my God.
I know Kate would like to see your cat. I know she likes cats.
Stay afterwards and see my cat.
Please tell us it's Cat 5.
No, her name is Bellatrix LeMeow. It's a Harry Potter joke.
Oh, yes. Okay, that works.
It's a Harry Potter joke.
I absolutely love that.
I was like, you get it, we can be friends.
I think we were already all friends before this happened.
That's because I whooped you guys at Cards Against Humanity.
We don't need to talk about that. That was in the summer. This is now the fall. We'll whoop you at Weather Pictionary.
Meteorologically or climatologically, or because I mean technically it's
the fall semester. We'll beat you at Weather Pictionary if you come.
I got nothing to do on Sundays. That's a lot. I usually work with my India team, so because I work like 14 to 16-hour days, but I will book it. I will book it now.
Yeah, book us. We're cool people.
Yeah. So seriously, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So again, even to echo off of what Dr. L and Professor Split just said, even if it doesn't say meteorology, because I know that they send out like they used to send out the little slips of like the majors that each company was looking for. Just go talk to them, right? Because your degree is applicable in many different things. As you guys know, meteorology is like that bridge between science and engineering. So you guys can kind of run in a different direction at any point if you want to. So, and complete like random PSA. It's not the end of the world if you have to settle for a job outside of meteorology and come back. Don't think like you failed. You can always come back. No, because there are some people my year after they graduated, they couldn't get a job in meteorology. So they just didn't get a job because they couldn't get one in Met. And I'm like, you can keep trying to get another job. Have like a settled job and keep applying, right? So got to pay your mortgage, man.
Yep.
It sucks though. I miss it. I like what I do now though, because then I get to use meteorology as a hobby and like hang out with a lot of the Mets around here. And then our tropical weather, if you guys aren't in there yet, there's a subreddit for tropical weather that's super fun. I'm one of the moderators in there.
Nice.
So every storm we hang out there and track all
this. Yeah, that's awesome.
You told me I had to get a Reddit account now?
Yeah, why not?
I
Just
already
make
have
sure.
like 6 or I have already like 20 social media accounts. So I really need another one. Yeah, who cares? I'll
fine.
get a Reddit. I'll add that to the list of things to do tonight.
There you go. Because that one's actually a lot of fun. With a bunch of other meteorologists, you can hang out and geek. And then if you show that you're a meteorologist, you get a badge, which means that like you're certified to talk
You
about.
should send me that information later. I will just do that and then neglect all my homework.
I'll send it to Cassie, and then she can send it to everybody else if you guys are curious. But
Yeah.
super fun. So, and then Dr. Allen, Professor Split can drop some serious like weather knowledge on, you know, these what is it, like hobbyist meteorologists every so often who pop up, who's like a kid who read a book once and they're just like, so I was reading about this and what do you think if there was a Cat 17 hurricane that showed up? And I'm like, all right, kid, simmer down. Step away from the day after tomorrow.
Good luck, Zach. I just saw your thing. He has a quiz in 5 minutes.
Oh,
Bye, Zach, don't fail. What class?
Oh, linear algebra. I know that. I know that for a fact. That class stinks. It was very hard. But I just saw him say that. But I could picture Dr. L doing that, which is really scary. I can just see him schooling some kids right now.
I didn't mean
Oh, God.
schooling negatively. I meant schooling like properly because people, when they're wrong, they need to know.
Disappointed dad looked at Dr. L.
Thank
again.
you, Steph. Good point. Yeah.
When they're wrong, they need to know. And on the internet, everybody's wrong. You need to prove them that.
The
There's a-
probabilities are high, right?
Yeah,
That's what
very
I'm
high.
Don't talk about probability. I have too much of that homework to do.
That's fine. They'll be fine. Hold on. Let me see if she's here on the couch.
Does anyone else have any more questions as Stephanie tries to find her cat?
You figured me out. Oh, I found her.
Yes. Victory.
Hold on. I found her.
What kind of cat is it?
Come here. This is Bellatrix Meow.
Can't see it.
She is a
Precious.
very unhappy calico.
Very pretty.
I found her. She was in a box that was duct taped on the side of 45.
Oh.
Good for you, Steph.
She just kind of happened into my life. So I did not plan to have an animal, right? Because I travel so much. But I have a wonderful neighbor who steps in whenever I have to travel. And like I said, she just kind of fell into my life. So she's older. She's sassy. She hates everyone except me. And right now I woke her up from a nap to show her, so she wants to go back. She's just like, no, it's nap time. And by that, I mean, she's just kind of curious now. Hi. Anyway, now you're live broadcasting my cat on Facebook. Congratulations.
That's the best kind of Facebook Lives. So when the cat's
Now
in,
she's just sitting next to me, and now she's gonna nap next to me. So whatever. So yep, there you go. Now you guys have seen my cat.
life is good.
Yeah.
That feels better.
So any more questions from anyone in the audience or on the planet?
On the planet.
I don't know. In the
I
galaxy.
don't know. Jake's hanging out in another, you know, he's otherworldly right now.
Is he in Mars or is he in California? Is he in Mars or California? Oh, it's the moon?
That's why I said, I was like, it's a blood moon. You're hanging out with
Yeah,
Oh.
exactly. It's the blood moon.
It was small as like little postage stamp, so I thought it was Mars for first glance. The little postage. Now I see it's the moon because you're big.
Yeah.
Postage stamp looks like Mars. Oh, nice moon.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of data here,
Comments, concerns?
well, we had some pretty heavy rainfall over here, at least more inland in the east central Florida, and the MCO ASOS reported 4.4 inches of rain.
Today? Just now? Okay.
Wow, that's crazy.
That's awesome.
A lot.
I gotta go.
I'm jealous.
I've only seen that much rain one time.
That's a lot of rain.
Yeah.
Hey, wait,
We're on
Hurricane
Facebook now,
Harvey.
by the way. We're on
Hurricane
Facebook, so say
Harvey,
whatever
I
you
was
want.
there. Come on. I was like, when
And
they
then
showed
the,
the videos of Harvey with the guy on the airboat, by the way, that was a mile south of me. Not even.
Oh, wow.
The water was 12 feet deep here in my neighborhood. But so, because, you know, we're adults and we plan things as meteorologists, I was able to look up all of the hydro data and floodplain data and everything before I bought my house. And I live on the second highest street. So like you left my part of my neighborhood and everything was underwater, but like the 10 streets around my house were all perfectly fine. Everybody else was underwater though. Because there's a difference between like, you know, 2 feet of water and like 12 feet of water. And like my second story house is underwater. Like the second story of my house is underwater, which was what was happening to a lot of people. So anyway, that got really dark. Let's not talk about that. That's sad.
It's okay. At least it's not on Facebook now. I stopped it.
Oh, good. Then I'm not going to talk about depressing things on Facebook.
It's just being recorded for YouTube still.
Oh, okay. We should have, I should check out what Apopka was, because that's where my parents still are. Is out in Apopka.
I don't remember seeing much out there. Where's my phone?
It's weird though. So they didn't get any severe warnings then, did they, Colin? Because normally I get a text alert for Orange County. Just to keep an eye on my parents to make sure if there's a tornado.
yeah. So I'm Winter Garden, so I know the area quite well that you're referring to.
Okay.
So yeah, no. I think a flood advisory was issued, but I don't think they actually went to a warning for anything.
Okay. I'm a little surprised just because if it was so quick, it should have, I mean, it would usually register as a severe thunderstorm or something. It depends.
Right. Yeah. So it looks like there was an LSR out of
Bye, Bella.
and this is just not gonna work. Okay, cool. So I think it was it who was it? Yeah, Almonte Springs reported 2.5.
Okay.
Although, hang on, because this doesn't make sense. Speaking of data not making sense, the location tag is Almonte Springs, but the actual text report is at Apopka. So a weather underground site in Apopka measured 2.52 inches.
Okay.
So,
is it one of the local, it's a local station, right? Because like I publish to Wonderground as well. So like it's just like a local station.
Yeah. They're probably a home weather station.
No.
Unfortunately, I
mean, I know mine is good because like I know, but like I don't always trust them. I don't always trust home weather stations.
We have a station and the rain gauge, which is one of these like disdrometer based ones. So it's not like measuring with the tipping bucket. It over reports because I have our standard rain gauge, and so you have to watch out.
Yep.
Yeah. And it's like, I know mine is calibrated because there's 3 other people in my neighborhood and all of us are usually within 1/100th of an inch of each other. So either we're all wrong or we're okay.
Wait a minute, if you're 100th of an inch away from each other, you're not socially distancing.
That's right. We're on top of each other.
Yes, this is a little scary.
Ooh, wait a minute. Did anybody look at oh my God.
Oh, wow.
Did anybody look at the last GFS?
Sharing is caring. Share screen.
Come
share
on,
screen.
give him the screen. Give him the screen. Let's
Share
go.
screen,
Wait a minute.
Share screen. Share screen.
Well,
I gave him permission.
Share my phone.
Share the screen.
I can't see it because you
Don't
have
you
your
have
loud
an don't you have,
background.
like,
Well, I have to
everything
get
over
rid of
there?
the
Can you like
background.
airdrop it to your
Hold on
phone or
a
something?
minute. You're also pushy.
I know. We're so needy.
Circle background, get away from. Oh no, I did the wrong thing again.
We're so needy.
He's out of control. He's out of
Pretty
control
much.
like Dr. L, who's always out of control.
All right, we'll go back
Nobody's
to
out of control
none,
like me.
and now get rid of that. Now I don't know if you can see that.
Yep.
Oh, damn.
Got a big hurricane coming.
Wait a minute.
Spotlight video.
Oh, it's like backwards.
Wait a minute. This is weird.
Dun, dun, dun.
Now watch this.
Houston, 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 Houston.
Watch this.
Oh no.
Oh.
It's Irma Jr.
Wait a
Oh
minute.
shit!
So who didn't pay tribute to the GFS this week?
Whoops.
We'll see. It's
Did
been
you make
all
a
over the place
sacrifice?
anyway.
Been everywhere. Yeah, don't put your marbles or eggs in that basket.
Oh no.
But that would be fun. Is that the timing for your training session?
The
Oh, that's
23rd.
ironic. For Skywarn.
Let's see. It's got the 9th. No. That's the 23rd. Yeah, it's right up at the 23rd.
Hey, and my birthday's the 24th. I'm gonna have a hurricane for my birthday.
It brings
21st?
you light to a hurricane party, right?
Heck yeah, my 21st birthday, I'll have a hurricane. That's the greatest news.
Well, don't get overly
That is
excited.
a
GFS.
14-day.
Yeah.
That is a 14-day wish task.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, it's GFS. Like, it's GFS more than like 2 days.
I love that it's the 23rd though, when we're supposed to have our Skywarn class, and they warned me we might cancel on you the day before if there's a hurricane coming at us. They literally told me straight up that. That's great. Well, it might get canceled. If it gets canceled, I'll let you all know if that actually happens, which I hope it doesn't. But oh god, Dr. L's face is scaring me.
Oh, it's so far out
It's
there. Come
mostly,
on.
mostly forehead.
It's the albedo.
It's mostly forehead. I'm getting.
Hey, watch it, Colin. Watch it, buddy.
It happens to the best of
It
us.
does, as we discussed.
Oh god.
Well, it's great seeing such a big group out there today. I see we've got AVMETs out there, aviation people out there as well. It's great seeing y'all from the aeronautics over in there as well. You guys are doing a good job kind of interacting across the campus, so that's really awesome.
But not too close.
Not too close.
Hey, this works, right? Works.
Exactly. And Dr. L remembers the meetings this time because I harassed him.
Well, yeah, right. I asked you to do that, right?
Yeah, I did. I texted him 2 hours before because he told me text me 2 hours before.
And it was successful.
I had her when she said that you were on text alert. I said add me as well. So she sent you one, and then she sent me one because I said like, don't let me forget the time change, please.
I'm texting everyone. I'm just the reminder of text. I just text everyone everything.
Just do calendar.
It is helpful. It's helpful.
Man. Calendar invites instead of Facebook. Attach them to the email.
You think
we'll
I know
all
how to
do
do
it.
calendar invites? I only know how to use Facebook.
It's not
Text.
in Facebook.
That's for better.
And text. I know how to text. I do like 800 texts like a week. Oh, when Dr. L says, ooh, that's scary and walks away, that's concerning.
It's 14 days out.
It's you know. And,
Still.
now you see him, now you don't.
Yeah, it'll probably vanish by the next model.
Wait, I
So.
actually have another request. Dr. L, where's Sammy? If Steph brought the cat, where's the dog?
All right, what's gonna get Sammy?
Yeah. If Steph brought the cat, you gotta bring the dog.
Who let the
All
dog?
All right.
He's coming to say hello.
Here
Ready?
comes Sammy.
Sammy!
What do you
Oh
think,
my
Sammy?
gosh. Sammy's so cute.
Yeah, he'll wave.
My heart.
You can't do that with cats. Go scratch your eyes out.
Oh.
What do you think, Sammy?
Hello, Sammy.
What do we all smell like? Computers.
Oh, bye, Isabel. I don't know if she left already, but I just saw her comment. I just saw her comment.
All right.
All right.
All right, Sammy.
All right, guys. Take care.
All right, we're good. We're going to end this then. Hope everyone enjoyed this meeting, talk, and everything. And the cat and dog session.
That's it. Ciao.
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 Hey, Steph.
See you.
Bye.
Hello. Bye-bye.
Good to see
Bye,
y'all.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Well, let me leave. I'm clicking leave and it's frozen.
Angela, you're stuck here with
Are we
us.
supposed to leave or is it ending? Because it's
Oh, no, we have a paid Zoom now. I can end this whenever I want.
Good. And, like,
Well, the power is unlimited.
I cannot leave the Zoom, so I guess
Hi,
I'm
Angela.
Hang on, I can kick you out. I can remove them.
Get
Whoa.
booted.
Bye, Angela.
Cassie, they pulled out a fucking police siren.
The police
I
siren?
literally booted him.
Yeah, I really did mute him.
He said, "You can't quit. I fire you."
Wait, Nico's still here. Hi, Nico. I know you don't have a microphone, but hi, if he actually hears me. Oh, he did hear me. Oh, I should stop the recording now, at least. Let me do that.